Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. Alec, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq, holds a position of profound influence and authority over the nation's monetary policy. As the steward of the Iraqi dinar and its value relative to other currencies, his decisions are pivotal, not just economically, but politically and symbolically as well. The exchange rate is not simply a number reflecting market forces. In Iraq's case, it is a barometer of national confidence, institutional reform, and global reintegration. So when people say, he will release it when he thinks it's time, they are acknowledging that this decision is not mechanical or predetermined by data alone. Rather, it is a strategic decision rooted in complex coordination with international bodies, deep assessments of Iraq's internal readiness, and precise alignment with the country's broader goals of sovereignty, development, and modernization. Observers who follow the process closely believe we are arriving at that critical point. The accumulation of signs, from public statements, economic reforms, central bank policy shifts, and increasing international engagement, indicates that Alec, in his professional and calculated judgment, may now recognize that all conditions have aligned. He has been walking a delicate tightrope between internal demands and external expectations, seeking not to provoke instability by acting too soon, nor to lose momentum by waiting too long. He is not operating in isolation. His timing, his thinking, and his willingness to act are all shaped by constant engagement with two powerful external partners, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the United States Treasury. The meetings with these institutions have been substantial, not just symbolic. The IMF does not merely observe, it provides frameworks, projections, and policy recommendations. Iraq's Article 4 consultations are part of an annual economic health check. During these consultations, IMF economists evaluate Iraq's fiscal policy, debt sustainability, monetary trajectory, and inflation pressures. When the IMF gives a nod of approval, it sends a strong signal to global markets and institutional investors that Iraq is on a reliable path toward modernization. The same goes for the U.S. Treasury. Their involvement has largely been focused on compliance, anti-money laundering efforts, currency transparency, and sanctions enforcement, especially in light of Iraq's historical entanglement with Iran and dollar smuggling schemes. But the narrative has changed. Instead of being pressured, Iraq is now a participant in dialogue. Instead of reacting to accusations or scrambling to meet basic benchmarks, Iraqi officials, led by Alec, are actively shaping reform strategies. The tone of these meetings, especially recently, has become more optimistic. According to insiders, these engagements have likely shifted from diagnostic to executional, meaning both the IMF and the U.S. Treasury now see Iraq as having largely completed the foundational steps required for a major economic milestone, currency reform. Third was foreign reserve accumulation and de-dollarization. Iraq has now built up one of the largest foreign reserves in the region, giving it a powerful financial cushion to back its currency. This not only allows the central bank to stabilize the exchange rate during transitional volatility, but also sends a signal of strength to foreign investors. At the same time, efforts have been made to reduce dependency on the US dollar and expand the role of the Iraqi dinar in trade settlements, payroll, and even tax collection. Fourth was geopolitical stability. Iraq has suffered for decades from war, insurgency, political fragmentation, and foreign interference. Investors and international institutions were right to be skeptical of any long-term policy changes sticking in such a volatile environment. But in recent months, there has been a noticeable shift. Security has improved, foreign relations have stabilized, and Iraq is now positioning itself as a regional economic partner rather than a conflict zone. The defeat of major terrorist factions, the rebuilding of infrastructure, and the relative calm across most provinces have created the perception, and in many cases the reality, of a country ready for economic rebirth. The idea that the time is now perfect is not hyperbole if you look at it in context. Iraq has had many false starts. Plans were drafted and abandoned. Goals were declared and missed. Announcements were made and walked back. What is different now is the momentum. Every major economic institution, domestic and foreign, seems to be aligned around a singular message: Iraq is ready. Its systems are more transparent. Its reserves are stronger. Its reforms are credible. And its leadership, including Alec, is showing the resolve and confidence required to make bold decisions. This readiness has been reinforced behind closed doors. In high-level meetings with the IMF and US Treasury, detailed forecasts have likely been presented, including stress tests, risk mitigation plans, and transition strategies. Alec would not risk releasing a new exchange rate unless he had confidence that it would not trigger market panic, dollar hoarding, or capital flight. The presence of international partners in these discussions gives him additional assurance. Not only do they validate Iraq's readiness, but they also likely offer tools, such as technical assistance, credit support, or transitional buffers, to manage the process. Alec is not only a central banker, he is a strategist. He understands the implications of his decision on public sentiment, political capital, and national identity. He also knows that there may never be a perfect time. But there is such a thing as a *right time, a window where all variables converge, where risk is minimized, and where the decision would be seen not as premature but as overdue. It appears, from all indications, that we have entered that window. So while the exchange rate remains under wraps, and no official date has been declared, the signals are unmistakable. This is not speculation based on rumor, but interpretation based on patterns of reform, official communications, global endorsements, and economic logic. Alec may be cautious, but he is not paralyzed. He may be deliberate, but he is not indifferent. And if the assessments of those who track this process are correct, then the release of the new exchange rate is not a matter of if anymore, but when. And when appears to be very close. In sum, Iraq has reached a point of convergence where institutional reform, fiscal prudence, international support, and domestic stability all align. Alec, who once held back the reins, is now positioned to lead Iraq into the next phase of its economic evolution. And when he makes that move, when he releases the new exchange rate, it will be because he knows that Iraq is finally ready to take that leap. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.